welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, June 5th, 2019. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The national activities for Fisherman's Day 2019, which will be observed on Monday, June 10th, will return to the Kingston Fish Market after 10 years. A number of fisher folk are excited with the venue change, and preparations are said to be on the way to get the Kingston Fish Market and its surroundings clean up for Monday's activities, including the prize-giving ceremony. The Fisherman's Day Committee, which also welcomes the change of venue from Calico to Kingston, said the day's activities will include a fish fest and fish will be sold at a reduced cost. Larissa Pogzi-Kidd tells us more in this report.
After a reported intense meeting with ministry officials yesterday, it was agreed that the venue for this year's Fisherman's Day activities, which is in its 44th year, will be the Kingstown Fish Market. Elated members of the Fisherman's Day Committee expressed gratitude to the minister responsible for fisheries, Sabota Caesar, for making the final decision to have the venue changed from Calico to Kingstown.
I think the fishers will be happy. There was some discomfort in the fishers about taking part in this year's competition. And knowing it's Kingston now, I think they have a lot of joy in them that they show out their support yesterday.
In terms of accommodation and things like that, it's much better. The stalls are limited. In the next location I was put up, in Kingston we'll probably have about 20 or so stalls available to the general public.
Kingston, I feel much better. It's sticking Kingston, and all the fishermen will feel much better. It is in Kingston. Everybody will take a part.
Give thanks to the ministry and the minister for accepting, because it was a challenge for us to get it come to Kingston, and we finally got the okay to have it in Kingston, and we are truly happy.
Now that Kingstown location has been decided, Chairman of Fisherman's Day 2019 Committee Raul Lewis said they will be following through with their plans to clean up the market and the Little Tokyo area where tents would be erected for Monday's activities, which will include a fish fest and a prize-giving ceremony.
We have a big market, we have the big wharf, and the guys are really, really happy. And this year we're looking forward for the customers to come in and get the fish at a cheaper price. The fish would be sold at $7 a pound. We're going to do some washing down, some cleaning of the drains, and remove some of the tables there, some of all the stuff there. We're going to have the area clear.
On Fisherman's Day, Monday, June 10th, fisherfolk across the country who will be competing in the Fisherman of the Year competition are expected to leave for sea at 4 a.m. to return with their catch from as early as 11 a.m. to the Kingston market, where their catch will be processed and weighed.
Fish would be taking place right here in the yard, in front of everybody, so that everybody can see. You have all the space here. Everyone can come in and take a peep and see what's going on. We are not saying it's going to be better than Calico or it's going to be worse, but we're just trying to see what the outcome may be.
Close to 60 fishermen have indicated an interest in participating in the competition, which carries monetary prizes totaling over 25,000 EC dollars. The competition has various categories, including the biggest fish, heaviest fish, most pounds, and the most head of fishes. The committee members are encouraging members of the public to come out in their numbers and take advantage of the fish festival, also to be held on Monday.
We want the whole country to come out and see, what's going on that day. And we want everybody to come out and get fish, buy all the fish. We want all the fish to be sold on that day. If you're lucky, you probably will get fish cheaper than $7 a pound. This area, the wharf, would be open also. We wouldn't have restriction on the customers to come in. They can come in on the wharf, they can see all the operation, of the boat, see the catch, see everything.
Reporting for SVG-TV News, Larissa Pogzi-Kidd.
A number of fish vendors also voiced their satisfaction with the decision made to have Kingston host this year's Fisherman's Day activities. Our news team spoke to some of the vendors today who were all in favor of the Kingston location.
In Calico, they have no space to the boat to them, they have no space to sell the fish. They're in the sun, they say look for quality fish, but all the fish in the sun, they find up one place.
So I got it back in town because look at inside here. Everybody could come in, all the fishermen could come in, chop the fish at $7. We're selling it out cheap. Chop the fish at $7, give the people when they come in.
The fisherman thing is better in town than out so. Because when people want to come from the world, it's problem.
Wonderful thing. So nice I'm feeling. I can't talk about how glad I'm feeling about the fisherman in Kingston. When I've been out there, rain me coming and me get my skin wet down. Yeah, I be selling fish. Well, I sell fish, and when fish come, I go sell. And I go feel nice to sell inside here.
Great about it because we have better wharf, better felicity in the market, and we have more place that you could get your fish sell and so.
Back, I went out and fishing, me and an ex-lady from Barley, and we traveled all the way from Barley to get out to Calico, to go and listen about the ceremony. And when I went out there that morning, I enjoyed out there at all because there was lots of rain coming and the park was messy with load of rainwater and the dirtiness of the park out there. I didn't enjoy it at all. So I'm really glad it is right here in Kingston at the new Kingston Fish Market. And I am as a vendor, I work in the fish market and the fish market is very clean. So people from all over St. Vincent and Grenadines could come in and buy the fish.
I'll be very glad that it come back into town because I was the number one fisherman. So I'm so glad that we got more space that we could land with fish, boat to park up easy, and things will be better than having in Calico. Because in Calico, the wharf out is no good. It's too small, place too small to have a fisherman there.
Because it has been a long time since it wasn't in town. And it's the main market, it's the main source. So it's supposed to held there every year because it's the main market and it have big facilities. Plenty boat could dock in anywhere around. When they call out the small, the wharf is very small. And when rain comes, it will have no place to stay. So I think it's better here. And you will be more comfortable here too. Once it's in town, I will be here.
Meanwhile, the Calico Fish Market will be hosting its own Fisherman's Day activities come Monday, June 10th. A member of the Calico Fish Market Management Committee, Dean Clouden, said they thought it best to have their own activities for various reasons.
We have 30-something boats in Calico, that is, and they all decided that they're not going to take part in the competition because of the fact there's been ill practices over the years where fishermen from town has been pooling with one another and winning the prize. Where one boat is throwing fish into another and they haven't got the fisheries to address this in any way at all. However, we have decided to have our own Fisherman's Day in Calico, if you want to call it that. Of course, as I said, now saying that is, Fisherman's Day is something that came out of East St. George. It's the brainchild of East St. George. And I don't see why people should be looking to make an effort to move from East St. George. Time and time has gone by. We used to look at other venues, but when you come to decide that Fisherman's Day in Calico is the best, it's more family-related thing where people.
Clouden highlighted some of the activities that patrons can expect on Fisherman's Day at Calico.
What we'll be doing, we'll be having performances by, Luther and Chanel, Rodney Small and his band, and we'll be giving prizes to persons with the biggest catch. Of course, we'll be looking at the fact that honoring the fishermen who have been in the industry for many, many years. We're looking at 4 or 5 of them, and also we're going to be looking at we're asking persons, that is, to come out and set up their food stands and their drink stands and so on, and we'll be giving prizes to the person probably with the best fish dish. That's just probably some of the things that we're going to be doing on that particular day.
In other news, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has expressed confidence that SVG will secure a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council, making history as the smallest country to hold such a position. The Prime Minister was at the time speaking at the launch of his latest book at the Methodist Church Hall last evening. The vote will take place on Friday, and PM Gonsalves said he will be meeting with Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sir Louis Straker, to strategize their final push before the vote. PM Gonsalves said he expects SVG will gain more than the needed votes to secure the seat.
Tomorrow in New York City, as we do our final push for the vote on Friday for the Security Council, and I just want to say I'm very confident of that. I'd be very surprised and disappointed if we don't get the 2/3 of the General Assembly. Out of the 193 votes, we need to get 129, 130, and I've been counting heads, and I feel sure we are above that number. And but as they say in baseball in the United States, it's not over till it's over. It's not over till the fat lady sings.
Noting that SVG does not possess the same resources as some of the countries looking to occupy a seat on the council, PM Gonsalves said the campaign by SVG has been one of using ideas and its conduct internationally.
A long campaign to choose this period to go, 2020, 2021, and for the election in June 2019, because we don't have money to spend on a big campaign. We have to win the campaign with ideas. We have to win the campaign with how we have conducted ourselves internationally and especially at the United Nations. Camilo's book was part of the campaign. This is part of it too. You will see on Friday in the newspaper, in summary, what our campaign has been about, so that whether we win or we lose, whether we get the seat or we don't get it, the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines will be able to read on Friday morning what we have been about.
There are 15 countries in the Security Council, of which 5 are permanent members with veto rights: the US, Russia, China, the UK, and France. The remaining 10 countries are elected for a 2-year period, staggered in groups of 5. In addition to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Niger, Tunisia, Vietnam, Germany, Belgium, the Republic of South Africa, the Dominican Republic, Estonia, and Indonesia are set to be on the Council in 2020. The UN Security Council is a UN body charged with ensuring international peace and security. The Security Council is the only UN body that can take binding decisions which countries must fulfill. Issues relating to class, race, citizenship, leadership, governance, the labor movement, and the unique history of this country were highlighted in a new book written by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves entitled The Political Economy of the Labor Movement in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Members of the public, including current and former government officials and heads of various trade unions, were in attendance at the launch of the book at the Methodist Church Hall last evening. Giving a brief overview of the book was activist and attorney David Comijong, who said SVG has a peculiar history, and in order to advance, it is important for Vincentians to learn about this country's unique past. Reading a quote from the book, Comijong said the book is a detailed examination of the history of SVG through the perspective of the working people and the organizations which represent them.
To reaffirm yet again that the understanding and an explanation of a country's political economy in the epoch of capitalism can be best pursued through a thorough examination of its labor movement and the working people who constitute it. End of quote. So what the comrade is doing in this book is giving you, I can't even say an overview, because he's giving you a detailed examination of the entire history of this country, told from the perspective of the working people, of their organizations, both their trade unions and their political parties.
PM Gonzalez said his book touches on issues of the state and why he opposes a citizenship by investment program for SVG. The Prime Minister said the government is no longer an alien force but belongs to the people, and it is important for leaders not to abuse citizenship, which he called a solemn adornment of the state.
If the leaders decide to abuse and misuse the solemn adornments of the state, meaning citizenship and the passport, the ordinary man and woman is likely to say, aha, they're telling us that this thing belongs to all of us, and they're abusing it and misusing it like that, because the bulk of the benefits in any event from citizenship by investment, lawyers, accountants and other people and intermediaries of one kind make a ton load of money. So if you can take this most precious of commodity, citizenship is what defines us in a political society. It is the relationship between us.
Touching on the issue of race and class, the Prime Minister said SVG's classes are still not fully formed, much like what exists in modern countries, and as such it is important for the state to be more democratized.
Above society, there is still a residue of that which allowed for autonomous state action, autonomous from either of the major contending quote-unquote classes. And this is why it is required, therefore, that the state must be, which is the point you quoted from me later, must be more democratized. That was part of the purpose of the 2009 constitutional reform, be more transparent, etc., etc. It's a subject on which of salience which the nation must reflect.
And in Carnival Beat this evening, we heard that Calypso lovers are invited to the Russell's Auditorium this evening to witness the talent of local and regional Calypsonians at a show hosted by the Upstage Experience Calypso Tent. The show will feature most of the cast members of the tent, including Scorpion, Brother Ebony, Lord of Mercy, as well as Trinidadian Pharaoh. Director of the Upstage Experience Calypso Tent, Stephen Huggins, said each year the tent continues to grow in strength, delivering quality calypso music. Huggins said Pharaoh is a dynamic artist and believes his performance will be well received by patrons at this evening's showcase.
Every particular show is an improvement on the one before, and so this one will be no exception. The people involved are growing in numbers. We have about 3 new persons coming on to this particular show. Scorpion is returning from the United States. Brother Ebony is returning from Trinidad. and Tobago. Also, Lord have Mercy, who was away on duties in Jamaica, he will be back. And as I said before, we usually bring a foreign artist. Those persons are locals who have been overseas. And so Pharaoh will be with us for tomorrow night. And he is a dynamic performer from Trinidad and Tobago. He was in a national competition there. I will leave him to deal with all of that, but just to say that we were impressed with his performance in Trinidad and decided that he was the one who will be there as a substitute for Gabby, who was there last year. So that's what we have to offer for 2019 in this particular show coming up on Wednesday night.
Hawkins said the show will also feature young and upcoming artists from primary and secondary schools, as well as versatile soca artists who will be delivering performances in the calypso format.
We have school people, children who are going to school still in the tents performing. There's Omani. I don't think he's more than 10 years old. There's Saya. She's just about 14, 15. Then there's Ronella, about the same age. And so we have a lot of very young people. That's not all. The people who just left school. And you'd want to know, well, how come? Because Upstage is molding them and bringing them, keeping them doing calypso. But more importantly, there's some soca artists, young soca artists who are returning to the calypso tents and performing. There's Rich Kid, right? There is Asher Robinson. He's known as Asher. There's Magical. I'm sure some of the young persons have heard Magical for the season. It is Bloody Hell Crazy. And then, as far as I understand it, this evening we'll be having Dimes and Pixel performing, well, at least they'll be rehearsing, hopefully, and we'll be performing tomorrow night as well. And they're promising to do something in the calypso genre. So what we have is a movement of young people coming back, if I could put it that way, into calypso.
The Upstage Experience Director said calypso is a unique part of this country's culture and appeals to the public to support the art form both physically and financially.
It's very important. I can go into a lot of things which I don't know if this will be the right forum, but for example, this year all the tents took the decision to raise the entrance fee to $15 instead of $10, which it was traditionally for a long, long time. And we started hearing through the grapevine that there were persons in the public who were saying, oh, that's too high and so on. And I want to just pose a question. How do you expect the calypso tents to operate on $10 show when it really deserves maybe $20, $30? I mean, it's ridiculous to expect that you can pay all your expenses and still have money to pay the artists. So what happens in a lot of cases is that these artists are all singing for free. And you're saying you don't want to spend an extra $5 or $10 to make sure that this is possible. So calypso associations and calypso tents can't operate on a $10 show, which we know costs more than $10 to produce. Per person, that is.
The Upstage Experience show this evening at the Russell's Auditorium is expected to commence at 8. Carnival is one of this country's largest cultural activity, and the Eastern Caribbean group of companies is playing its part in its continued development. On Monday, the company presented a check of 90,000 EC dollars to the Carnival Development Corporation. Several rural carnival committees, Carnival Bands Association, representatives from other carnival components also received financial and other support from the company to assist with their activities for Vincy Mas 2019. Marketing manager of ECGC, Rachel Haslam, said the company is delighted to play a role in the continued development of Vincy Mas. She said the company is also excited that it has been selected as a title sponsor for the Junior Fet World event.
ECGC will be supporting several carnival entities as we fulfill our corporate obligation to the people of SVG to give back to what is the largest national event, Vincy Mas. Welcome to Soca Land, as is the theme for this year. As we continue to build our relationship with the CDC, this year we have been awarded the title sponsorship of the Kiddies Carnival, which I'm sure most persons know is now been branded Junior Fet World, the mass edition. And we are truly excited, truly excited by the rejuvenation of this event. CDC has put a lot of effort into putting added attractions in place to make it a fun-filled afternoon for all the children. So parents, you need to save the date of Saturday the 29th of June, because that's Juicy's Junior Fet World Mass Edition.
Chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation, Ricardo Adams, said Vincy Mass is a national event which all Vincentians should be proud of and support. Adams praised ECGC for its continued contribution to the festival.
ECGC is not only supporting the CDC, but if you listen carefully, they're supporting rural carnivals, they're supporting the Carnival Bands Association, they're supporting players in Monday Mass, they're supporting players in Juve, they're supporting the Calypso tents, and they're also supporting the private promoters. And I think that is actually a wonderful thing, because it says that they're not concerned about simply what is happening in the Victoria Park, but they are concerned about what is happening nationally for Carnival. And I always say that Vincy Mass is a national event, and it's an event which ought to benefit all Vincentians, whether directly or indirectly. So I'm really happy that you guys are investing in all of the players in Carnival. I don't know as yet if any of the steel bands have approached you, but that's the only segment that I see that's missing. So I'm pretty sure you're going to get some approaches next year.
The High Voltage Mass Band is dedicating this year's presentation white to the judges of the mass component of Vincy Mass. The Mass Band will present 10 sections this year, with the primary color being white, except for one section which is amply titled, "Where is the White?" Band leader Kingsley Collins said after the results last year for the Band of the Year competition, he thought of giving up and stop doing mass production. He claimed that the band was unfairly judged, and this year they are hoping for a better result with their unique white production.
You know, we in High Voltage Mass Camp feel like after last year we feel like giving up. We feel like surrendering. We feel like we don't want to be a part of this no more, because they're not seeing us, they're not judging us the way we think they should have judged us. You know, because we are a band not only for entertainment, but we educational as well one time. You understand? We enlighten persons with knowledge. We give knowledge in every one of our presentation. Our presentation is not only for you to be entertained, but it's for you to be educated as well. But we felt we were cheated, we felt we was dishonest, you know, so we base all these sections, we base the entire band on two sections. One is white collar, the other is surrender. So the band basically is a tribute to the judges and how they're judging us. You know, the timing of that is start to use the criteria and not favoritism. I may sound negative saying this here, but my reasons for saying this is that persons telling me I should have bring bottom glass or Indian Bay, and this coming from persons who are involved in the judges panel as well too.
Collins said that it has been a great challenge producing mass. He said that despite the challenges, he continues to invest most of his time and energy to ensure that the costumes are the best, noting that he is optimistic about winning the Band of the Year title this year.
Well, we face a lot of challenge, you know. Look at this building, for example. You know, this is the kind of conditions that we have. You know, a leaky roof, a mass camp with dilapidated state, you know, sponsorship. You know, and I could go on and on and on and on. You know, it has several million complaints that we could go on and say that a lot of stuff that we're facing. But one of my most things that I'm challenged with is using the criteria for judging the mass. That's my biggest challenge. You understand? Because not only that we produce good mass, but even a reflection of yesteryear, yesteryear results that, you know, it keep your spirit down to an extent too. It make you feel gloomy, it makes you feel like you don't want to come back, you know. So until that spirit come back again, then then, you know, until they start to use the criteria, you know, and stop do favoritism. That's basically the roughest and toughest part of this ordeal for Metro St. High Voltage.
The High Voltage band leaders invited masqueraders to come down to their mass tent at Lower Bay Street in Kingston to view their live costumes display and choose one out of the 10 sections they wish to portray.
8 adults and 2 children. The children are boys, White Knight. Girls, Purity. Adults, not followed by the adults. The other 8 sections are White Rose, Extreme White, White Gold, White in the Moonlight, Ivory, White Collar, Surrender, and last but not least, the all-inclusive section, Where is the White? Price range is from $450 for the regular sections, children $180. The children is White Knight and Purity. The girls is Purity and the boys is White Knight. The all-inclusive section is priced from $600, back line $685, middle line, and front line $750. Okay. A contact number is 593-7117. You could call me any time of the day or night. 593-7117. That's my contact number. You can reach me anytime.
Alright.